welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Revelations from a Baby Boomer. Very thankful to
Revelations.
be here with you, Miss Millie. We've covered a lot of interesting information today about your relationship with J. Edgar Hoover and the research that you went through, a little bit more about you as a person. And now we want to talk a little bit more about who J. Edgar Hoover was. Not everyone, especially people from my generation, may know of him and why it was so dangerous for you to be doing the information and research that you were doing. I know that a movie was released recently about J. Edgar Hoover, and I don't know how many of you have seen that movie. But Miss Millie, why don't you give us a little information about that and why, if he were alive, your life would have been in danger for you having done that research.
Wow, that's a big mouthful. You see how smart this young man is? He decided to put me on the hot seat today and just try to let the audience know who Miss Millie really is and why she's qualified to do what she does. J. Edgar Hoover when he passed away, he was the director of the FBI. And as I was growing up as a little child, actually, I hated him. And I was taught not to hate. But I hated him. And why I hated him, I remember it, 10 years old. I remember people talking about how he hated Martin Luther King, how he hated President John F. Kennedy. I just thought he was an awful man. And I had the opportunity to meet a lot of advocates for equality, people that fought for the rights of not just blacks, anybody. You know, everybody that has that's alive has a right to be equal to
That's
another
right.
person.
That's right.
And I, growing up, knew that he was a very powerful man and a very hated man. And I tell you, Jason, you won't believe this, but when my book came out, there were bookstores that refused my book. They didn't want nothing whatsoever to do with J. Edgar Hoover.
I believe it.
Yeah, he was just such a hated man.
Yeah.
But the thing is that if you don't understand your history, you are doomed to repeat it. I do
That's the
not
truth.
want to see another J. Edgar Hoover birth. So I would like for everybody to get to know who he really was.
Yeah.
And that's why I fought so hard against all odds, against a lot of hatred, against even threats on my life to write just my family history, because so much stuff came across my computer and my desk that was damaging, that could have caused me problems, which I had nothing to do with. I'm not involved with the FBI trying to put anything out about the FBI, but everybody in this country has a right to find out who their family is and to do genealogy. So I
That's
knew
right.
that, so I stuck to that, and that's what my book is about.
That's right.
It's about that. And many of the white relatives of J. Edgar Hoover, who J. Edgar Hoover really claimed to be a part of, who are a part of me as well, the black side, didn't even know they had a black side.
Right.
And they came out and reached out to me to come and show my research with them, and I did. A wonderful, loving group of people. And I was really happy to meet them. But in the meantime, I met a lot of people that was very damaging, tried to sabotage.
I can
And-
imagine. I can
But
imagine.
I wrote about it in the book, What's Done in the Dark, the book before the film. I wrote about that particular editor that decided she wanted to take the work, and she was white. But you know, everybody said, well, that was racism. No, it was greed. It had nothing to do with color, because she was married to a black man. So it wasn't about race, it was about money. It was about this woman. She's not going to do this. I know more research and I know more people, and she set out to sabotage me. But again, I did exactly what I was trained to do. I never looked back, and that's what you do when you know you're on the right track. You know you didn't do anything wrong. You stay focused. I teach my students that. Do not look back. I had no time to fight that woman with her mouth saying whatever she had to say. I knew who I was, and I do know who I am, and I stuck to it. I just kept moving forward until I found every piece of paper and met everybody that was willing to share with me and finished the job.
That's very well said, Miss Millie. And I think there's one thing that the audience can take from that, and it's the fact that you said you didn't give up.
Never
You
give
fought
up.
back. And I want to encourage everybody out there to just do your best, to just learn as much as you can, develop a strong skill set, build up your experience, build structure in your life, and just take this world by storm.
Very well said, Jason. That's right. You never, ever, ever give up. Now, before we clip, do you have anything else to ask me, Mr. Jason?
I
You're
sure
doing
do.
very well. I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much. Well, there is something else here, and it's a wonderful book that is actually a culmination of many different experiences and lives that Miss Millie has touched through her vision. Miss Millie essentially has always wanted to help people in the world. That has been her quintessential drive in life. And I'm holding in my hands a very precious book that was put together through a combined effort of not only Miss Millie, but of many different people who came together to inspire others through their stories. So, Miss Millie, what's this book called?
Wounded, Survive, and Thrive.
Wounded, Survive, and Thrive.
101 women share their journey from torment to triumph.
Yes, now that's beautiful. Now, would you mind telling us a little bit more about what this book is really about in a little bit more detail?
My dream was to pull together 100 women with me, which would be 101 women, talking about the struggles in their lives, talking about the pain, the suffering on many levels, and then talking about how and when did they decide to survive it, and did they survive it? And when they survived it, where are they today? What are you doing today that's going to move yourself forward and move somebody else forward? Are you paying it forward?
Yeah.
That's what that book was about. And that book is used for women that I run across that are down and out and feel that there's no way, no light at the end of the tunnel. That book lifts them up because I feel like they can turn those pages and find themselves and find that woman that got out of that dirt, pulled her stockings up, and moved forward.
That is so
That's
deep.
what that's about. And Jason, as you know, I decided that there are men out there that are struggling just like women, but we do know that men don't talk about their struggles. They don't talk about their pain. They don't whimper. They don't cry. They don't mope. So I'm looking for 101 men that will come out on faith, share that struggle, share that thriving, share how you survived it with men that are down and out, that see no way out, and that they can uplift their spirits. And when I go to colleges and universities and organizations to speak to young men, I want to start a ministry with young men, that I can use those stories. One of the stories I've already gotten is from my father, and the other story is from my godfather.
Okay.
And the story from my godfather is very easy for me to tell because I've known him since I was 17 and a half years old when I set foot in Los Angeles, California. And I know how strong a man he is, and I know that things that happened to him that would knock any man to his knees, and I don't know how he got up, but he did. He got up and he kept moving forward. And that's what it's all about. Jason, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
Never giving up. You're put on this earth for a reason,
We
and
are.
we all are going to suffer. Anybody that gets up and say that I have never, ever, ever suffered, I've always just been fine, I want to meet them.
Yeah.
Because
I would
I-
like to meet them too, because there's no way, and that's not what human experience is about. It's about suffering, and it's about joy. It's about coming together and moving forward as one people. And I think this book is a wonderful example of what that could be.
I thank you very much, and I believe that's so.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jason, for putting me on the hot seat this morning. And I am just so happy and hope that many of you out there will get to know more about Miss Millie as I go along. And those of you who would like to put an imprint into your life for the better, and you need someone to help you get to that level, if it's writing or producing something, or you just want to call or email and ask me a question, feel free to do so.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when this video is over, please check the links on the bottom, and we will definitely have some resources for you to check out if you're interested in Mr. Wesley M. Swearinger, if you're interested in What's Done in the Dark, if you're interested in Wounded, Survive, Thrive.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to clip here, and Jason had a few more questions that he want to ask me.